Hello. If you're concerned about your heart health and you find yourself confused by all the conflicting advice out there, you are in the right place. One day, we're told to avoid fat. The next, we're told to avoid carbs. It can feel like a full-time job, just trying to figure out what to put on your plate. And that uncertainty, that constant questioning of your choices, can be a source of real worry. I understand this can feel overwhelming at first, and it's perfectly okay to feel that way. You simply want clarity. You want the straightforward, trustworthy path to protecting your heart and feeling your best. That is why today, we're going to cut through the noise. We're going to draw on the clinical experience of one of the country's leading cardiologists to share something very specific. 8 powerful superfoods, all with 0 carbs and 0 sugar, that can form a cornerstone of a heart-healthy life. But more importantly, by the end of our time together, you won't just have a list of foods. You will understand the single, unifying principle that makes them so effective. A principle that, once you grasp it, can change the way you think about food forever. To begin, we must address a foundational piece of advice that many of us grew up with. For decades, the prevailing wisdom was simple. To protect your heart, you must avoid fat and cholesterol at all costs. We were taught to fear foods like eggs, shellfish, and rich oils, diligently trimming every last bit of fat from our meat and opting for fat-free everything. Now it can be unsettling to learn that long-held advice may be incomplete or even misguided. But what I want you to remember is that knowledge is power. Science evolves, and our understanding of the human body grows deeper every year. This is not a failure of past advice, but a triumph of present-day discovery. A lesson from a cardiologist with over 30 years of experience involves a patient. Let's call him Robert. At 68, Robert was doing everything he thought was right. He followed a very strict low-fat diet, avoiding eggs entirely and using only fat-free dressing on his salads. Yet his cholesterol numbers were not improving, his energy levels were low, and he felt constantly unsatisfied after meals. He was, in effect, starving his body of some of the very nutrients it needed to thrive. This is not an isolated case. Clinicians see this pattern frequently. The intense focus on eliminating all fat inadvertently led many people to replace those calories with refined carbohydrates and added sugars. Foods like white bread, low-fat crackers, and sugary snacks. What heart specialists now understand, based on decades of research, is that this trade-off can be far more detrimental to heart health. The real breakthrough is not about avoiding all fat. This brings us to our first 2 superfoods, which are the very foundation of this new understanding. Fatty fish, like salmon, and true extra virgin olive oil. Leading cardiologists emphasize fatty fish for one primary reason: omega-3 fatty acids. These are not just fats. Similarly, extra virgin olive oil is the hallmark of the Mediterranean diet, an eating pattern consistently linked by major health organizations to lower rates of heart disease. Its power comes from 2 places: its high concentration of heart-healthy monounsaturated fats and its potent antioxidants called polyphenols. These compounds, as one leading cardiologist explains, help protect the delicate lining of our arteries from damage and work to reduce the chronic inflammation that can lead to disease. Now, how do we put this into practice? If you're not used to eating fish, start with a single 4-ounce serving per week. Canned salmon is an excellent, affordable, and convenient option that provides all the same benefits. For olive oil, the simplest way to begin is by replacing other fats you might be using, like butter or margarine, when you cook. Try roasting vegetables with a drizzle of olive oil, or using it as a base for a simple salad dressing with lemon juice and herbs. A common mistake to avoid: particularly with olive oil, is choosing a light or pure version and expecting the same health benefits. The heart-healthy polyphenols are most concentrated in extra virgin olive oil, which is the least processed form. To ensure quality, look for oil that is sold in a dark glass bottle, as this protects it from light, which can degrade its powerful compounds over time. I know that consciously incorporating more fats into your diet, especially after being told to avoid them for so long, can feel counterintuitive. Be patient with yourself. This isn't about a radical overhaul overnight. It's about making small, powerful, and delicious additions to your plate, one meal at a time. Now we turn to two foods that have been at the center of dietary debate for half a century, causing confusion for millions: eggs and shellfish. For years, the egg yolk was villainized because of its dietary cholesterol. However, a major 2025 study from Monash University, which followed thousands of older adults, brought stunning clarity to this issue. It found that consuming between 1 and 6 eggs per week was associated with a 29% lower risk of cardiovascular-related death. And this was true even for participants who had been diagnosed with dyslipidemia, or high cholesterol. The key insight that cardiologists now emphasize is that for the vast majority of people, the cholesterol you eat in food has a minimal impact on a far bigger culprit in raising harmful LDL cholesterol is the overconsumption of saturated and trans fats. Now, a common question that arises here is, but what if my doctor told me to watch my cholesterol? That is an excellent and important question. This new understanding does not mean you should ignore your doctor's advice. It means you are now empowered to have a new conversation. The evidence from studies like the one from 2025 suggests that for many older adults, the rich nutrients found in eggs, like high-quality protein, vitamin D, and choline, offer benefits that may outweigh the outdated concerns about their cholesterol content. In fact, the American Heart Association's current guidance supports up to 2 eggs per day for older adults who have healthy cholesterol levels. The exact same principle applies to shellfish, like shrimp, mussels, and clams. While they do contain dietary cholesterol, they are incredibly low in the saturated fat that actually drives up harmful cholesterol in the blood. Instead, they are packed with lean protein, essential minerals like zinc and selenium, and even some heart-healthy omega-3 fats. A common point of failure here isn't the shellfish itself, but how it's often prepared. Drenching lobster in melted butter or deep-frying shrimp and calamari unfortunately negates their powerful health benefits. And it's so easy to fall into those old habits, so please, do not judge yourself for it. Instead, just become aware of it. Try steaming mussels with garlic and white wine. Try grilling shrimp with a squeeze of fresh lemon. This is about progress, not perfection. Every small change is a victory for your health. Let's pause for a moment and connect these ideas. We started with the confusion and worry caused by decades of conflicting health advice. We then dismantled the pervasive myth that all fat is bad for your heart, revealing that the right fats from salmon and olive oil are in fact powerfully protective. Then, we re-examined protein sources like eggs and shellfish, learning that the old fears about their cholesterol content are not supported by the most current, rigorous science. It's important to see how these are not separate ideas, but a single integrated system. By strategically replacing unhealthy saturated fats and refined carbohydrates with healthy unsaturated fats and high-quality lean proteins, you begin to fundamentally shift your body's internal environment from one that promotes disease to one that promotes health. You have been incredibly patient in taking in this new information, and I want to commend you for that. Simply by listening this far, you're already more informed about your heart health than you were just 18 minutes ago. But simply eating these foods is only half the story. You might be wondering, why do they work so well? What is the deeper mechanism inside our bodies that these foods are actually targeting? Understanding this is the key to making these changes last. Because the foods we've discussed so far are just the tools. Now, we need to understand the job they are designed to do. Remember the promise I made at the beginning? That you would not just get a list, but a unifying principle. That is what we are about to uncover. And it is the secret to not just a healthier heart, but to reducing the chronic, low-grade inflammation that cardiologists now see as a major driver of almost every age-related disease. The secret lies in a part of your body you may have never thought about, the endothelium. Imagine a delicate layer, just one cell thick, that lines all 60,000 miles of your blood vessels, from your largest artery to your smallest capillary. That is your endothelium. A leading cardiologist describes it as the Teflon lining of your arteries. When it's healthy, smooth, and flexible, blood flows freely, delivering oxygen and nutrients exactly where they need to go. But when it becomes damaged and inflamed, a condition called endothelial dysfunction, that slick lining becomes more like Velcro. It becomes sticky, stiff, and permeable, allowing cholesterol and other substances to get into the artery wall. This is where plaque can begin to form, and it is the very first step in the development of atherosclerosis, the foundation of heart disease. What causes this damage? One of the primary culprits is chronic inflammation, which is often fueled by factors like high blood sugar, oxidative stress, and a diet high in the wrong kinds of fats. This inflammation reduces the availability of a critical molecule called nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is what tells your blood vessels to relax and widen, allowing for healthy blood flow. Without enough of it, your vessels can become stiff and constricted, which contributes to high blood pressure. Now think back to the foods we've discussed. The omega-3s in salmon, the polyphenols in extra virgin olive oil, the powerful antioxidants in garlic. All of these nutrients have been shown in scientific studies to help fight inflammation, reduce oxidative stress, and support your body's natural ability to produce that vital nitric oxide. They are not just foods. This healing process doesn't happen overnight. It's a gentle, steady shift. So what might you notice first? It likely won't be a dramatic change on the bathroom scale. According to clinical observation, the first signs are often much more subtle. You might feel a bit more energy in the afternoon. You might notice that the post-meal slump you used to feel isn't as pronounced. This is a quiet signal that your body is beginning to function more efficiently on a cellular level. It's your body's way of telling you that you are on the right path. Be patient with it and listen. So now we can bring it all together. We've talked about healthy fats, we've reevaluated protein, and we've explored the profound importance of the delicate lining of our arteries. We are now ready to reveal that single, unifying principle I promised you at the very start. The most powerful strategy for a healthy heart, according to the cardiologists on the front lines of patient care, is not a specific branded diet. It is not about counting every calorie or gram. It is a singular focus, calming chronic inflammation. Think of it this way. Chronic, low-grade inflammation is like a slow-burning, smoldering fire inside your body. It is silent, and you often don't feel it for years. But this fire damages the endothelium. It can destabilize cholesterol plaques, making them more dangerous. And it contributes to nearly every major chronic disease of aging. The zero sugar part of our title is absolutely critical because added sugar is one of the main fuels for this fire. Superfoods we've discussed, the fish, the olive oil, the eggs, the shellfish, the garlic are like the fire department. They bring the water and the foam. They bring the omega-3s, the antioxidants, the polyphenols, and the lean proteins to douse the flames and help repair the damage. When you stop thinking in terms of good foods and bad foods and start thinking in terms of inflammatory or anti-inflammatory, everything becomes simpler. The goal is no longer about deprivation or what you have to give up. It becomes about nourishment and what you can add in. It's about consciously choosing to put out that internal fire, one meal at a time. This single shift in perspective is the absolute key to taking back control of your health and building a more resilient body for the years to come. So, what does this look like in practice, starting today? Let's create a simple, clinical action plan for the week ahead. This is not about achieving perfection. It's about taking the first step. 1. This week, add just one serving of fatty fish to your meals. It can be a beautiful salmon fillet for dinner or even a simple tuna salad for lunch. 2. Use extra virgin olive oil instead of other fats for cooking or for dressing your salad, at least 3 times this week. 3. Try having an egg for breakfast one morning, perhaps in place of a sugary cereal or pastry, and just notice how you feel. 4. The next time you make a soup, a stew, or a sauce, add 1 extra clove of fresh garlic. And 5. This is our final superfood, and it may be the most important. Pay attention to your hydration. Keep a glass of water by your side throughout the day. Proper hydration helps your heart pump blood more easily and is essential for every cell in your body. Now, this is the most important part of our entire conversation. Please, be gentle with yourself. Making changes to long-held habits can be hard, especially when we're older. Research shows us that emotional factors like loneliness, depression, or simply feeling tired can make it much harder to find the motivation to shop for and prepare healthy meals. Acknowledge that reality. If you miss a day, or if you eat something that isn't on this list, it is not a failure. It is simply part of being human. The goal is not a perfect record. Thank you for investing this time in your health. It is a profound act of self-care, and it has been an honor to share this information with you. Now, I would like to ask something of you. In the comments below, please don't just share what you learned. Share one small, gentle step you feel inspired to take this week. It could be trying a new recipe with salmon. It could be buying a bottle of extra virgin olive oil. It could simply be deciding to share this video with a friend or family member you care about. Reading about each other's journeys is a powerful way to feel connected and supported. Remember, knowledge is the first step, but compassionate action is what creates lasting change. Take care of yourselves and each other. If you found this information valuable, please consider liking this video, sharing it, and subscribing to the channel for more evidence-based guidance to support your health. We look forward to seeing you again.